Hi and welcome back to the channel. My name is Drew and this is the Just a Guy Linux YouTube channel. So a couple weeks ago I did two videos, the parts 1 and 2 of BSPWM. This will be part 3. In part 1 we installed Debian testing from scratch, and we included setting up the Btrfs file system with 2 subvolumes. And so what we did in part 2 was we had already installed BSPWM, so we did some configuration of BSPWM. But what I didn't do, which I should have, was install timeshift during that video and take the minute, which is all it really takes to show timeshift GTK. So if you have not done it, if you did follow along with part 1, all you really need to do is to sudo apt install timeshift. Okay, now it's already installed for me, but in order to pull up timeshift, you need to sudo timeshift -GTK, and there you go. It is already set up, and it is showing the 2 subvolumes that were set up in the original part 1 video, and it's basically set up. Let me go into settings real quick. All you need to do is select Btrfs. We are looking at this SSD drive, and we are including the at-home subvolume in the backup. So, I mean, truly, this is really simple, and timeshift is a fantastic application to use for backing up your machine. So let me go ahead and close this, and let me close this. Now, 2 weeks ago also, I had talked about the possibility of using a machine or a setup that did not have a taskbar, whether it be polybar. In i3 I use bumblebee status, whether it be lemon bar or tint 2, which we also use for OpenBox. So what I've been doing in my free time over the last couple weeks is trying to determine whether it's a possibility for me, and I think I've kind of like set it up the way I could use it. I don't know if I will, but let me just show you what I've been playing with, basically. So I'm going to go into I'm going to workspace 4, which is my SXHKD and a terminal, and I want to go ahead and kind of like show you what the SXHKD RC file looks like. And in order for me not to have a taskbar, I need more feedback by using Dunst. So like, for example, I just hit Super 4 to go to Workspace 4, and it basically, up in the top center portion of my display, it popped up Workspace 4 so that I know which workspace that I'm currently on. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead. I did kind of break this down into a few different parts. When I hit Super Escape, for example, it gives me feedback that SXHKD has reloaded. If I do Super Shift R, it gives me feedback that BSPWM has restarted. And so what I want to do is, let's go down. If you have not used BSPWM before, let me go back and do a kind of a simple review of the changing focus and shifting windows. Okay, and that's shown in these 2 commands here in my SXHKDRC file. Okay, so F would be focus and S would be shift. All right, so we're going to change focus right now. So we have two, notice when I hover over, it's changing focus to the window. But if I don't have control over the mouse at that moment, all I have to do is, I'm going to go ahead back over here and just kind of highlight this. This is what we're working on, okay? All we're going to do is super key and then left arrow so that we change focus to the left. Super shift, just super and then right, super right, super left, super right, super left. And then that's all you need to change focus on something on your display. Now, if I want to swap sides, all I have to do is add the shift key. So it's super shift and then left and then super shift right, just to swap the two sides. Okay, if I add a third window, let me just go ahead and put 3 here so that you can tell which one is which. Okay, if I hit super shift up, it's going to move it to, it's going to just move it north. Same thing with down. If I move it super shift left, it's going to make it the biggest part of the screen, which is over here. And same thing. So I'm just going to swap it back. Now, if I want to, I can just swap this back and we're back to where we started again. Okay. Now, what I don't need is feedback, whether it be dunce feedback or not. If I'm just swapping sides, it's not that big a deal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit super shift C to close that. Now let's just go back down here to resizing the windows. Okay. Now I'm using the arrow keys again, and I'm just, instead of the shift, I'm going to use control. So I'm just going to move my finger down to control, super control. And since I'm highlighted on this window on the left, which is the genie, I'm going to use my right arrow key, super control right, to make it bigger. So you can control this. Now what I'm going to do, since I'm still on genie, I'm just going to add another key, which is the shift key. So I've got 3 keys, super control and shift down, and I'm going to go and select the left arrow key, and I am moving it, and I'm going to take my shift off and just hit super control, and I'm moving it. So, and then if you want, you can always swap sides and hit control and make this bigger if you want, and add your shift key and move that back over. Okay, so basically what's doing with these two particular commands within the within XXHKDRC. Now, so moving along with not having a taskbar, like I said, I wanted to make sure that I had a few notifications when something happened, so that you're not looking up and looking for where's the time, where's my workspace notification, where's my volume, where's my network, and if you don't want, again, I don't know that I'm going to stick with this, but I wanted to make sure that I could if I choose to. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go super 1 to go back to workspace 1, and notice again the notification up here, back to super 4, and that's where we left off. Okay. Now, what if I wanted just the time? So I put in I'm going to add this really quickly. Actually, let me go super F, which is my PC Man FM. And here under the bin, I've got a bunch of bash scripts, and a couple of them I wrote, a couple of them I got from other places on the internet, but these will all be on my GitHub page under the .files. Okay, so let me go back to Super 4, which is workspace 4, and I'm going to hit super T. T would be time. So let me go back down to where time is right here. So there's a script called time_date. If I hit super T, it just pops up so that you can see what time it is. I think actually I got this one from Tyler, who is Zany OG on YouTube. Sweet. It works. Okay. Now I'm going to go back up here. So because I want to make sure that I had a network, a way to get to the network, I installed rofi-network manager. This is a thing. I'm going to make sure that if I do refer to this, that it will be in the description below of where you can get this particular package. Okay. So if I'm going super in, you can see that it just pops up. Like I do not have Wi-Fi on, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn it on and hit scan. Now it's going to go away for a second, but then it's going to pop back up. And let me go ahead and hit scan again because it turned on Wi-Fi. And there you go. This is these are the wireless networks that are close to me, and I can connect to them. So really cool to get this, and I'm going to go ahead and turn Wi-Fi off because I am just using a wired connection, not a wireless connection, and that works great. So I don't actually have to have like a network icon in my taskbar. As far as power, so this is a script that I either found, and I did modify it slightly. So I hit super X, and that's when you can log out, shut down, reboot. I don't even think I use this stuff down here, but usually it's just one of these three things. Okay, and cancel. This will be in my bin directory in my dot files. Let's talk about this one. This is rofi-key. This is something I'm going to try and make sure I give credit to where credit is due. I did change this slightly. So if I hit super H, it shows the key binding. So like super space is rofi, super enter is the terminal, and so on. You can see what, just in case you need like a helper to remember, oh, that's what that key was, or that's what that key binding is. So pretty nifty. Let me go down. I already showed you reloading the SXHKD daemon as well as BSPWM. And then this is what this is right here. So like if I hit super 5, notice workspace 5 pops up. Workspace 4 pops up. Okay. And I wrote a really like 2-line script that basically does that. So what I did was in SXHKD, I put in a semicolon and a backslash and just put a reference to which WS or which workstation. Let me go ahead and just pull that up real quick under my bin and which. So all it's doing is it's sending it's doing a query of what the focused workspace is, and then it's passing it to Dunst and showing what workstation we're currently on. Okay, that's all this is. All this is doing. Okay. So I did want a way to give me feedback for changing volume or putting mute in. So I added a super, and again, I cannot take credit for this change volume up or down. I'm going to go and find out where I got this and give credit where credit is due. Okay. Super and shift K. So super shift K. And notice it shows up and my notification and my dunst in the center of the screen, so I can go between up and down, super K and J, up and down. If I want to hit super shift M for mute, it does that, and then if I hit it again, it basically goes back and displays what the current volume is. So phenomenal, a good way if you don't, like I said, if you don't want a taskbar and you don't want to use your mouse, this is a way to display and change things on the fly. Okay. Generally I use flame shot. Okay. But then I wanted to, not have to have it in the sys tray, which is where it would show up. So I wanted to use scrot to see if I could avoid doing that. Now, if I just use super S, which is basically taking a picture of the entire, if it's taking an entire snapshot of the screen. So if I hit super S, it basically saved the entire image to my pictures directory. Now, super alt S with this ampersand right here. That ampersand basically is saying, okay, we need to like pause for some input. So when I hit super alt S, notice there's the crosshair. So when I want to, what it's doing is I have to select what I want to be captured. So if I just want this part of the screen, it does it, and that selected image is now saved to my pictures. And while I'm here, let's talk about the last two things. So redshift on, redshift off. So I use super alt R and super alt B. So R is redshift, B is back to bright. That's the reason why I used R and B. So super alt R will turn redshift on. And so what I hope that it showed up well enough. So it says redshift temperature color 5300, and that is basically for kind of like what I would use for nighttime type use. So super alt B would be to change it and turn redshift off back to a normal color. Okay, so super alt R for redshift on, super alt B, turn redshift off. Okay, now, okay, so when we are looking at this, I wanted to put in a clip board type of thing. I don't necessarily use clipboard, but I can see the benefit of it. I know that a lot of people will use clipman and XFCE. So what I did was I installed this clip menu. It's actually has to be started in the BSPWM RC. It's called clipmenu D. Again, I will put this in the description with more information below. And then when I go to Alt V, it pops up a bunch of things that I have copied over time. Okay, so if I let's say I'm going to double click on that, and then if I go over here and I paste it, there you go. It's been pasted. It was put, it was put in the clipboard, and now I can easily paste it somewhere else. So pretty nifty when it comes right down to it. Okay. I think that's all for now. I will show you real quick what if, because I am basically showing you all I need to, if I wanted to do a no bar type of setup, this is how I would do it. And again, I'm using a lot of key bindings as well as sending stuff to dunced in order to get some type of feedback. So, you know, we have workspaces, we have time, we have, you know, so workspaces would be workspaces, we have time, we have volume, we have the network, and we have our help. We have, what was the other thing? Redshift. So basically I'm turning it off. So redshift on, redshift off, and I think that's it. So what I'm going to do is actually, let me go into micro config SX. Actually, it's already there, isn't it? So let me go back to 4, and it's already open here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just uncomment this line so that the polybar launches, so that I can just show you what the polybar that I did do looks like, and in case you want to come back for the next one, you can see what the polybar looks like, and I'll probably go into a much more a different discussion on polybar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to super shift R, and there it is. Okay, so this is what the polybar looks like, and I will talk to you guys next time. Thanks.